Hiya, and welcome back to No More Future. The game that teaches us that it's okay, it's apparently okay to beat the shit out of people if it's for a good cause. I should mention that legally that was a joke. Legally, do not, fuck. Anyways, let's just hop right in. After a rough night full of mystery, dread, and wonder alike, you find some comfort in the presence of a reliable, if curt, companion. And as the day is about to begin, so too do your problems begin to pile up. Welcome back. Before we can resume, there are a few questions you must answer. When Mary asked, "Did you stick with your birth name?" Afterwards, what pronouns did you choose for yourself? Pretty sure they, them. You've made your choice and now you'll die with it. Well, that's morbid. Once again, welcome back to No More Future. Damn! You're saying you saw what last night? The human asks, cheekily, between a sip of her coffee and another. You heard what I... Ugh. Please don't make me say it again. No, really, I insist. Even as you shamefully lower your gaze to the floor, you can still see her smirk clearly in your head. Unamused with your reluctance, she takes her cup off her mouth and starts brandishing it at you, her seat on the kitchen counter looking more precarious by the minute. You know, I did go through the trouble of brewing you this coffee. It's the least you could do, really. Sighing, you slowly raise your gaze to stare at your own fuming cup, which lays on the table a few inches in front of you. Your greatest mistake of the day so far, it would seem. You're really making me do this, aren't you? Of course. Isn't that what friends are for? That is what friends are for, right? I'm not pushing you too far, am I? No? Why do you ask? You wonder aloud, curious, only to be met with a fierce shake of her head. Forget it. She mutters before downing what's left of her cup and setting it aside on the counter next to her, much to your dismay. It's been like this all morning now. Daphne's behavior remains as brash as ever, but cracks have been showing more often than usual, despite her attempts at downplaying it. No doubt the result of last night's events. Perhaps she's more shaken by what happened than she wishes to let on. A feeling you know all too well. Seeing this, you grab what's left of your cup and down it in one go, letting the bitterness of the coffee and the sweetness of the sugar brush your tongue as it slides into your body. Then, like a drunkard at a bar, you let it drop onto the table with uncharacteristic force, causing a sudden noise that appears to briefly jolt Daphne from her thoughts. Once you're sure she's paying attention, you begrudgingly ask. I saw the city contorting on itself the longer I heard her talk. The buildings growing bigger, the lights brighter. Then it all started shifting around until it formed some kind of tree, I guess? The woman raises an eyebrow at you, her lips hinting at a smirk once again. That's not how you put it the first time. You sigh, your eyes quietly rolling to the ceiling. A big fucking tree of light! Satisfied? Apparently not. Without a word, Daphne drops from her improvised seat on the counter and steps over to the table, only to sit down again, on a chair this time at least. And here I thought the second time would sound funnier for sure. Ha ha. Hilarious. No, seriously, how can you still worry about being or not being human? You really think a machine could come up with a story like that out of the blue? Oh, I know they could. I had a B grade installed in my head for a while, remember? You'd be surprised at the kind of nonsense they can come up with. She nods at you as she drinks from her cup again, which she's somehow already refilled to the brim since last putting it down. Okay, she's magical. At least you're not acting like you totally saw it and it was definitely there. Means you didn't go full psycho on me yet. Key word being yet. Hey, don't steal the words from my mouth! I was gonna say that! She chuckles before once again letting her gaze wander off into the distance, seemingly tense. Is something the matter? You've been spacing out like that all morning now. Your concern is noted, but invariably she brushes it aside with a scoff. I feel like we're missing a lot of context here. I feel like we're missing a lot of context. Let me look at that. Okay, I think we're fine. I still feel like we're missing some context. Did I just fuck up? No, like, actually, did I actually fuck up? That's the thing. Hang on, let me check. Let me go to the main menu. Preferences. Unseen text. There we go. Chapter select. Let me try looking at chapter 13. Hang on. Let me go to chapter 12 real quick. Okay, we did do that. 13. We did that, which means that we were doing it. We weren't missing any context. I need to go to automatic. Her concern is noted, but invariably she brushes it aside with a scoff. Wouldn't this be another case of the pot calling the kettle black? Many such cases these days. Though you both crack a smile at that quip, the tension in the air yet remains, prompting you to insist. You know you can trust me, right? Your question is met with some evasiveness at first, and even a deep sigh, but after a while, much to your surprise, your friend decides to finally address your concerns. That's just the thing. I have to reckon with that now. With what, exactly? With the fact that we're in this together. That I have to start relying on you for things. For better or worse, we're friends to the bitter end now. Weren't we already? You ask, a little hurt by the implication. Though it's not long before she clarifies. In theory, sure. In practice... Well, I think you'll agree I left much to be desired. She explains, embarrassed with herself, as her gaze practically drops to the floor. Had some time to think about it last night, you know. Plenty of time. I called you friend, but in the end, I didn't treat you much better than I did most others. Even as we grew closer, I did everything I could to keep our distance, thinking you'd be safer and happier on your own. Another stray chuckle. Because that worked wonders for us so far, right? We decided not to answer, trying to give her time to comfortably speak her mind. After another brief delay, she appears to find the right words at last. What I'm trying to say is I'm still new to all this. I spent the last few years pushing everyone away. I really don't know how to keep people close. But I can't afford to lose you now that I've accepted I need your help, and so I'm really trying to. She makes as if to say something, but the words won't come out of her mouth. In the uneasy silence that follows, it's your voice that rings out next. I'm going to be relying on you too, you know. Don't think I won't make you sweat out there. You explain with faux bravado, hoping your smile can help tear away her sorrows. And you don't need to worry about the way you act around me. You can be abrasive at times, but weird as it may sound, I've come to appreciate that about you. Most of the time. You mumble under your breath, never too cautious. You appreciate that about me. Yeah, if nothing else, I can always rely on your honesty, and you can be funny, on occasion, unintentionally. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? She tries to retort, only to be betrayed by the wide grin on her lips. But, thanks. I really needed to hear that. It's alright. I understand this is all new to you and that you need time to get used to this. It'll probably take a while before you can fully trust me. Maybe. But if we're going to take on that synthetic, I can't afford to take too long on that, can I? She says, a confident smirk plastered once more onto her lips. Our pronouns are they, them. Just wanted to point that out. Oh, we're a synth. As for a synth, I'm actually kind of hoping it's Native Instruments FM8. Because that'd be cool as hell. I mean, you got the color scheme. Got the color scheme for FM8. I'm hoping that Isaac is a copy of Native Instruments FM8. Hang on. Okay, apparently Tenor GIFs has no whatever. She says, a confident smirk plastered on once more onto her lips. Another bout of silence, much more comfortable than the first. Daphne rises to her feet and heads on over to the counter again. Speaking of, did you and your friend at Pandora come up with a plan for that? You mutter indistinctly under your breath, suddenly having trouble coming up with a proper response. We talked about coming up with a plan for that. You finally explain, a tinge of embarrassment in your voice. For what it's worth, Daphne doesn't seem too perturbed about it, at least. Well, as long as that's still a priority, don't want to get caught with our pants down again, do we? That I'd rather avoid, yeah. You mumble, already looking for ways to veer the conversation away from this slightly uncomfortable topic. Honestly, we barely had time to touch on that last night. Our conversation together just flew by. She grunts in acknowledgement as she steadily cleanses the coffee brewer with slow, almost mechanical motions, before clumsily filling it with coffee powder once more. I mean, I barely had time to process anything as it happened. One moment we're talking about our childhood, the next death in synthetics. Then there was that whole apparition with the city and the tree, and you sigh, trying to regain control of your rapidly rising tone of voice. Then we bid our farewells, and I just went to sleep right there and then. On the roof. She asks, incredulous, turning around right as she's finished setting the brewer on the stove. Yeah. She snorts. Well, geez, no wonder you look like shit. Glad to see you're already back to your usual way with words. You're welcome. Though now that you mention it, didn't you tell me you needed to be hooked up to a special machine in order to sleep? I did, and I thought I did, but I guess that's not required after all. You explain with a shrug of your shoulders, just as surprised about this discovery as she is. Having experienced both methods, however, you can definitely express a preference for the intended one. Hooking up to that machine in your apartment, strange as it might have been at first, feels somewhat comfortable and even relaxing, and allows your mind to wander a dreamy landscape for as long as you need to rest. While passing out on that roof felt much the same as drowning in a pitch-black ocean surrounded by pure suffocating nothingness, till the dim rays of the sun showed you the long way back to the surface. At some point you finally came to, dazed, gasping for breath, with shaky limbs and a back that screamed vengeance. It's a miracle you didn't wake up screaming yourself. And then I wound up here, by accident mostly, pressed the wrong button on the elevator. After wasting away on my lonesome all night, I thought some company could... Did you say something? Nothing. You immediately reply, unaware of how much of that stayed squarely in your thoughts, and what was instead carelessly blurted out under your breath. Unaware of or unbothered by your blushing, Daphne heads back over to the table and places another cup of freshly brewed coffee under your nose. Drink it. It'll help you wake up. I thought that's what the first cup was for. Wouldn't the second in a row cause more harm than good? Obviously, the first one didn't do the trick, and to be honest, I have my doubts the second one will either. Yeah, Oh, this is a safe-for-work visual novel. I can see what you mean. Frankly, I'm not sure if caffeine even works on me anymore, or alcohol, or anything. I assume Mary made it so my body can at least replicate the sensation, but to what extent, I cannot say. Well, if nothing else, the placebo effect should still be working. Just imagine drinking it will make you feel more awake, and you'll probably be halfway there already. Are you sure that's how that works? She shrugs. Works for me well enough, most of the time. That said, if you're not up for another round, I could always help myself to your serving as well. Jeez, you know I didn't save you from that synthetic just so you could overdose on caffeine the very next morning, right? Half-heartedly just before falling inexplicably silent. Is something on your mind? Daphne asks, both surprised and concerned. Always, but nothing new, I assure you. Just can't get that damn hallucination out of my head is all. I've been trying to think of something else all morning, but man. You shudder. Am I going insane? You ask, a tinge of fear in your tone, already prepared for the worst. Well, I'm probably the last person you should be asking, but no? Not really, no. Daphne replies, her earlier concern lessening somewhat upon looking at you some. But despite her casual words of reassurance, you can't help but avert your eyes in disillusion. But that hallucination, stop calling it a hallucination already! She quiets you down, finally fed up with your behavior. You just told me you saw that thing while you were talking to that scientist, yet you kept on talking to her even after it disappeared. Which means that A, you were wide awake, and B, you did see something last night, whatever that was. She retorts with undeniable conviction, though in the end your skepticism inevitably finds a way. Couldn't I have just made up the rest of that conversation too? Hearing that, your friend can't help but raise an eyebrow at you mockingly. Sure, and maybe this whole discussion is a dream too. Maybe you never woke up and this whole room's just a figment of your imagination. Seriously, you realize this is why you sound like a loony yourself, right? Making a mountain of a fucking molehill. You want to rationalize what happened so bad? You're skipping all the simple solutions, going straight for the overcomplicated ones. Overcomplicated? You make as if to shout, only to deflate at the last moment, much to your embarrassment. The topic is really drawing the worst out of you, isn't it? Ugh, I guess you're right, yeah. But if you're saying I really did see something, what was it then? Daphne crosses her arms, lost in thought, only to shrug her shoulders a moment later. Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, it's not like I was there or anything. But you just said... I said you're overcomplicating things, and I mean it. Jeez. Who cares what that was? You're an android, right? Fucking manufactured by Google. It was probably just a glitch or something. Get your manufactured by Google ass out of here. Be built by Apple instead. I'm just fucking with you. You mean like a visual bug? Now there's something you haven't thought about in a while. You've grown so used to seeing those fireflies floating about, you practically forgot they were even a thing. As one such particle floats amid the gap between you, right before the human's disinterested gaze, you ponder on the theory she tossed so casually out into the ether. Could your distorted vision be responsible for what you saw last night as well? It's not a perfect explanation by any means, but it already makes just enough sense for the weight on your shoulders to lessen already. No, Isaac wasn't manufactured by Apple. I'm pretty sure he was manufactured by Samsung or Google. Or John Deere. No, he was manufactured by Cat. Huawei! I was thinking of that. Fucking Isaac was manufactured by Huawei. No Mordex. This is a safe for work game. Who manufactured Isaac? Fucking Huawei. No, we're a Samsung Galaxy Flip. No. What is going on? I'll be right back. My dogs were barking at nothing. I'm just kidding, they were barking at the neighbor. Could Could your distorted vision be responsible for what you saw last night as well? It's not a perfect explanation by any means, but it makes just enough sense for the weight on your shoulders to lessen already. You know, now that you mention it, that might just be it. You think so? I mean, it just said the first thing that came to mind is all. I'm not exactly an expert on androids or anything at all, so don't sell yourself short. You listened and pitched ideas. That's all I could have asked for, really. And I thank you for it. Smile on your visor soon reaches the human's lips, and her cheeks redden as she tries to avert her gaze. Truth be told, it didn't feel right to move on, but what with that vision plaguing your every thought, but Daphne's not wrong. There's no reason you should overthink it either. There's still plenty of room for doubt, but at least now you have a working theory, and that's already more than you could say a moment ago. Here's hoping you can focus on what actually matters now. Right as you're about to move on to the brighter topics, you spot Apollo groggily making his way into the living room, his face half buried into his phone. It's only after he's entered the kitchen that he lifts his gaze from the screen and casts a surprised look on you both. "Oh, hey!" he says as his half-asleep brain starts kicking into gear. "I didn't expect to see you guys here. What's the occasion?" He continues, rubbing his eyes with his free hand while he stuffs his phone into his nightshorts pockets. You have to admit, that is some fit he's got on him right now. Every fiber of your being wants to compliment him on it, but alas, your self-restraint inevitably prevails. Well, I was passing by and Daphne just lives here, I guess. Human shakes her head at your reply and hastily corrects you. He's asking why I'm not at work, dumbass. Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. You're already at home around this time last week, weren't you? So out of it this morning, I didn't even question why you were still here. After a lengthy sigh, the human drops whatever pretense of irritation she had and replies nonchalantly. You had other problems on your mind at the time. No big deal. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere today, or at least not to work. I called in sick earlier before you got here. Oh, nice! I think. It's not contagious, is it? Apollo inquires, seemingly conflicted. It's not contagious. Hell, it's not even real. I just needed a break from that hellhole is all. It's been a while since I last spent some time with you anyway. His sister replies amidst her chuckling as she steps closer to him and envelops him in a hug. Apollo says nothing, but judging from how quickly he reciprocated, and just how tightly he's embracing her, it's clear he's quite relieved. Or maybe he's just trying to suck up as much warmth into him as he can or something. But probably the former. What? Oh, damn. Yeah, that's violent. But probably the former. I'm guessing your manager wasn't a fan of the idea? You suddenly ask, upon realizing the hug isn't breaking up anytime soon. Yeah, he was kind of a dick about it. What can you do? She replies as she slowly lets go of the lamb, who yet hesitates to do the same. Well, I know what I did. Threatened to quit right then and there, and then changed his mind real quick. Wow, that's bold. You sure he's going to take that well? Yeah, I'm sure. We talked it out like reasonable people. It's all good. So you can stop hugging me now, alright? He gives her brother a few encouraging pats on the back. After a while, Apollo slowly loosens his grip around the human and looks up at her excitedly. So, you're going to be around all day? That's the plan, yeah. Sweet! We can play video games together! As many as you want, little guy. She says reassuringly as she ruffles his hair for good measure. Speaking of, want to boot up the console in the living room, get a head start? In a moment. I think I'll have some breakfast first, and maybe a glass of water or two. Yeah, that's fair. There should be some leftover coffee in the brewer if you want some. Oh, nice! He walks closer to the cupboard, fetching a large cup with similarly adorable decor and inching closer to the brewer. And I can't believe you guys had breakfast before me. Usually I'm the one who makes it around here. What'd you guys have? Hesitantly scratch the back of your head while Daphne slowly tilts her head away from him, embarrassed. You didn't think to offer him anything? Daphne! What? I offered him coffee. Coffee alone is a breakfast! You know this! That's breakfast for me every day! He reprimands her, deeply embarrassed himself, before sighing in resignation. Alright, I'll go make something real quick. Cool. I'll, boot up the console or something. No problem. Apollo mumbles to himself, still somewhat disappointed, as his sister makes for the living room, an awkward look on her face. Another sigh later, you hear his voice again. I'm really sorry. We don't usually have guests, so she probably didn't think of it. He pleads as he heads over to the fridge in the corner of the room and begins to scrounge its inscrutable depths for ingredients. Trust me, I totally get it. No need to apologize. Plus, I have a synthetic body and all, remember? No real need for food and all that. Sure didn't feel that way when we dined together last week. Can't help but chuckle at your friend's remark. So seemingly out of left field it is, barely awake Apollo seems to be a whole different beast indeed. You can definitely see his sister rubbing off on him a little. All jokes aside, it's fine if you don't have anything ready. A little I've seen, even your leftovers are a treat. Do you have leftovers for breakfast? I have nothing for breakfast usually. You hesitantly confess, prompting the lamb to turn around and face you, his body still half hidden by the fridge. Well, that's bad! You should stop that! His command, brutally honest as it is, can't help but elicit another chuckle from you. Not the most polite reaction perhaps, but the smile on your friend's lips seems to imply otherwise. Alright, point taken. Need a hand prepping the food? Oh, I couldn't ask. He whispers to himself, redness spreading over his cheeks already, pretending not to hear. You step closer to the counter and prepare yourself for the task ahead. Then how about a trade? I'll help out, but only if you teach me some of your tricks first. I don't know. Are you going to put them to use once you've learned them? If I can cook food half as delicious as yours, I absolutely will. He chuckles, amused. Deal. The best thing I ever made was Cincinnati-style chili. It was the best thing I've ever cooked. I still have jerk seasoning from Cincinnati. Still have jerk seasoning. I've had it for 2 years! It's just sat in a cabinet for 2 years! You munch delightedly on the fruits of your labor, your cheerful yet strict instructor right beside you. There are some who would call omelets a relatively simple meal, but it takes a surprising amount of work to make one this puffy. With the mix of greens, cheese, and prosciutto inside, even the taste is beyond compare. You made sure to offer some of your meal to Daphne, but she hastily rebuked it. By the time you spoke with her, she was already neck-deep in her video game, and you can tell it'll be a while before she finally regains her bearings. Didn't seem particularly healthy to either of you, but on the off chance she takes it poorly, it's probably best not to insist. And so, your turn to the kitchen to eat. Lonelier, but in good company. As you're digging into your plate with reckless abandon, you accidentally lay your gaze upon the lamb at your side. He's eating sure, but not quite as eagerly as you. And it's not long before you realize he's looking at you too, a mix of worry and curiosity in his eyes. Is everything alright? You inquire, equally concerned, even more so after last night. Oh, yeah, why wouldn't I be? He mutters, likely wondering what spurred this on. Well, last night, you began, only to hesitate at the very first words. You never got Daphne that gift you mentioned, did you? You ask, bringing up a wholly different topic from the one you originally intended. Your worry foams unheeded at the back of your throat, but you gulp it down before your friend can notice. Oh, you're right, I forgot again! Huh? You say something? A concerned, if confused voice echoes from the living room. Nothing! The boys echoes reassuringly from the kitchen. To which his sister shakes her head before turning to her game. Then tries to reply to you, his voice barely whisper now. Shoot, I completely blanked out. I didn't even know what I want to get her. The regret in his voice and the one in his eyes don't mesh very well, but it could just be the trauma. He's yet to speak a word of what happened yesterday after that conversation. And you, for whatever reason, cannot bring yourself to remind him. That's alright. We'll get her something some other time, okay? Together. You whisper back, conspiratorically, smiling even as your mind is split on how to feel. That'd be awesome! I knew I could count on you. You know, maybe we could get her a new video game. Now that I think about it, she is dangerously close to finishing that one. Wow, that explains a lot, actually. In fact, isn't that the really hard one that... Son of a bitch! Daphne screams at the screen as she threatens to cave it with her controller. Then a mere few inches away from the deed, she somehow finds her composure again, sits back down as if nothing happened, and resumes her session. Yeah, she's a real fan of that series. Shame that's the last entry so far. It's fucking Dark Souls! Right. Shame. You mumble under your breath, once again unsure of how to feel. What about that one we were playing together last week? Oh, that one's really old. They haven't made a new one in decades, I think. He muses, strangely sorrowful before continuing. Sucks I didn't get to see you guys play last time. Seemed to be having a lot of fun together. That we did. You reminisce, a smirk already plastered on your visor before turning to face him once more. Maybe we'll get your chance today. Oh? You mean you want to stick around a while? If you'll have me, I don't see why not. I still owe you for last time since I left too early for you to join in. Oh, you owe me nothing. As long as you and Daphne are happy, anything works for me. In fact, he says quite excited, he suddenly grabs his plate and cutlery and stands up. I'm gonna go wait for you by Daphne's side, if that's alright with you. See if I can't convince her to switch games when she's done. She's playing Dark Souls 3 with DLC. It's either that or Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. I feel like Daphne is banned from online games. I feel like she's banned from online games. Fucking COD lobbies. And it's probably that. She got a little too involved in the COD lobbies. I'm gonna go wait for you by Daphne's side, if that's alright with you. See if I can't convince her to switch games when she's done. I guess that'll take a while, huh? Depends. I could try to speed her up, but seeing how you're eyeing your plate, what do you say I let you enjoy your handiwork in peace for a while? Our handiwork, you mean? You correct, I'm earning a chuckle from your friend. And yeah, that sounds good to me. Don't wait for me either. If you want to get a head start in the meantime, I'm not opposed. I'll see how I feel about it. The lamb replies, somewhat uncertain, as he slowly makes for the living room. Anyway, enjoy! With a final brief word of encouragement, Apollo leaves you to your devices and joins his focused sister on the couch. Meanwhile, you remain seated at the table, your half-finished omelet staring at you angrily in the eyes, not at all pleased of being abandoned halfway through, or so you should imagine. You resume your meal, although nowhere near in peace. Your words to Apollo just now are all you can think about, especially the ones that went unsaid. All you did was avoid an uncomfortable topic, and yet deep down, you feel as if you've lied to him, and it's not hard to see why. On your first night together, you pushed Daphne to be more straightforward with her brother about what happened. But now that you know the full truth of their situation, your initial stance is harder to justify. Why involve someone who can't defend himself in this fight for your lives? Who struggles to even remember the dangers he must be protected from? It still doesn't feel right, perhaps it never will, but until those thugs are dispatched, you'll just have to do everything you can to keep Apollo safe, physically and mentally. You can only hope he'll forgive you once this matter is finally settled. Your grim thoughts are interrupted, quite suddenly, by an unfamiliar sound playing in your head, or rather, a melody that won't leave you no matter how hard you try to suppress it. Ugh, now's not the time! When you spend all morning listening to this unbearable music, you focus your energies into pinpointing its source, and indeed, the mere thought alone provides the answer. It's an incoming call from Natalie's workstation back at Pandora. Wait, Natalie? That's odd. I don't think she's ever announced herself like this before. Or at all. You muse, your annoyance quickly replaced by curiosity and concern. Not wanting to waste another second in the dark, you hastily decide to pick up the call. Hello? Greet your friend somewhat unsteadily. Hello? Jasper? You blurt out as loud as you instinctively push back your chair, already on your feet upon the mere sound of his stone-cold voice. It's Mr. Morgan to you, android. Or have you already forgotten? What? Exactly? He mockingly stutters after you, stone-cold and implacable. I already forgot, like I said, every single tiny instruction you give me! He continues, his last words brimming with the rage he must surely be suppressing still. I see Mary already told you about what happened last night? Told me?! He echoes just as he did earlier. Oh no! I had to find out on my own, just as I found out a cleanup crew had been mobilized to your town last night. It seems following paper trails is the only way to get anywhere these days. Isn't that right? He states, flatly, his voice growing a tad weaker with each word, almost as if he were turning around as he spoke. Are you talking to Natalie? Hmm? Oh yes, little girl here. As I should have expected, her superior was mysteriously unavailable this morning, so I'd refer to this one instead. Can you believe it? And then... He interrupts you, unflinching. And then she had the gall to try and deny me this conversation, claimed you were in no condition for it, like you were some kind of helpless infant. He mutters foully under his breath. Then another voice somehow reaches your ears. I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan. I just thought... What you thought, he tells her louder, was of no consequence then as it is now. And what's with the stuttering already? Did you teach them that? Hey, knock it off already. She didn't... Excuse you. Jasper growls one word at a time right into your ears, his voice alone chilling you to your very core. You overestimate yourself as you underestimate me. Your outrage holds no weight here, and leniency is not among my virtues. So I suggest you watch a tongue of yours lest I cut it out myself. He declares, the voice sharper than a knife's edge. Well, in theory, you'd like to think his threats are empty. In practice, you find yourself reeling your tongue back as if it were already in danger. Good. Seems you understand after all. He mutters, pleased at last before continuing. I want you here, in my office, at Pandora, today. Today? You repeat after him, terrified. In fact, make sure you're here by noon while you're at it. I should be able to make some time for you before lunch, to properly chew you out, I mean. He explains in no uncertain terms. But that's less than 2 hours from now, you exclaim, only now realizing how much time you've already spent here. Your point being? Oh, well, it's just a little sudden is all. Already made plans for the day, and I haven't even booked a ticket yet. And? He swiftly inquires, unamused by your reticence. Nothing, sir. Better. He mumbles amidst the sounds of a chair skidding on the floor, likely a result of him standing up. Not a minute late, android. Try not to make another mess as you get here, either. Hear the sound of more furniture moving, footsteps gradually growing distant, then something else you can't quite make out, followed by a door closing more quietly than you thought it would. After an unpleasant silence, interrupted only by the occasional shout from your friends, finally hear a new sound from the other side of the call. Whew, that took a little longer than I wanted it to. A flustered Natalie mutters into her microphone, much to her relief. Yeah, tell me about it. Is everything alright? Hey, come on, you know it should be me asking you that, right? She says, brushing off your concerns with a chuckle. Good to see you're still as chipper as ever. I'm surprised you can manage that after everything Jasper put you through. Oh, it's nothing. Can't let something like that get in the way of my job. She explains, maybe a little flustered. And besides, Mr. Morgan is nothing I can't handle. There are definitely worse things out there than a boss with an attitude. Huh. I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he bites or anything. I think. Well, I certainly wouldn't know, though I suspect he wasn't happy to hear about what happened last night regardless. That he wasn't, but I tried my best to be thorough and objective. That seemed to be enough for him. He did throw around a lot of curses and such, but I don't think his anger was ever directed at me in particular. Not until the very end, I mean. Right. Did he say anything at the end? Right as he left, I mean? Oh, yeah, I guess you didn't hear him. She mutters as she briefly pauses to think back on the Drake's words. He said if you aren't here by noon, he'll pay me another visit soon. You're kidding, right? You ask, despite already knowing the answer. Dear Lord. Hey, it's alright, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Really? Despite her attempts at feigning confidence, you can't say you're the same mind as her. Her behavior around Jasper on the day you met is any indication. Well, it's a miracle she managed to survive thus far already. Anyway, what's this about Mary being unavailable today? You ask, not wanting to dwell any longer on a topic Natalie's clearly uncomfortable with. For what it's worth, she seems to appreciate the change of subject. Well, it depends on who you ask. You listen to Jasper, he'll tell you she bolted as soon as she realized she couldn't cash in her reality check. Sounds like him alright, and if I listen to you... That's a different story. I actually spoke with her right before she took off this morning. For the bank? For the other transition facilities, silly. Labrador explains in between her chuckles. After all, the main theory as to how that Max character even came to be is someone used one of our transition devices to make a synthetic of their own. She said she personally wanted to ensure that wasn't the case. Right, I think I remember discussing this with her last night. But inspecting all those facilities on her own, doesn't she have someone else who can take care of this for her? In theory, yeah, but you know Mary, she always likes to be thorough when it comes to this stuff. Like she did when those synthetic frames went missing in the first place. You have to admit, that does sound like her. And besides, with the possibility of a mole lurking about, you suppose she can't be too careful. If she assigned this task to the wrong person, it could spell even more trouble. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I just wish you could have talked about it with me before leaving. So much for being around when you need her, you bitterly think to yourself, and hopefully not loud enough for Natalie to overhear. Well, we did consider waking you up to let you know, but she decided it was best to let you sleep in the end. Said she already told you she'd be on the case last night, and? And that it wouldn't have been nice to ruin your beauty sleep over a simple reminder. Beauty sleep? You shout back, suddenly embarrassed with yourself. Come on, it's not like I choose to wake up late. Cut me some slack. It's like you choose when to hit the bed either, or where. I know. Mary was just messing around is all. You know what she's like. And anyway, you don't have to worry about her being unavailable. She's never going to be far away from her phone throughout her trip. And you can always leave a message if you can't reach her. I guess. How long is the trip going to take? It's tough to say. She'd have given me an estimate of a few days, though. 3 or 4 at most. That's not too bad, you think to yourself. You should be able to survive that long without her, even with a murderous synthetic on the loose. At least that's a hope anyway. Though, for now, you should probably focus more on surviving your next encounter with Jasper. Well, I guess I should prep myself for the trip to New Relay. 2 hours is plenty of time, but you can never be too careful. Oh, about that. You sure you want to come at all? She asks, much to your surprise. I know Jasper said, but you shouldn't have to deal with him if you don't want to. We're gonna die. Again. Then who'd face his wrath exactly, you? She pauses briefly. I mean, I am your handler. Helping you out of a jam is my job and all. I could always try to call Mary. She might not have expected Jasper to find out what happened so soon, but surely she knows of some way to... No, I don't think she does, really. Had she known of a way to calm Jasper down or cared about it at all, she wouldn't have taken off before informing him of what occurred in the first place. Seems she's not going to stop underestimating her CEO anytime soon. I don't mind passing by for a visit. It's been a while since I was last to Pandora anyway. But what about your plans? It's fine. They weren't set in stone or anything. I'll just reschedule for some other time, I guess. You mutter as you somberly look back to your friends, already busy beating each other up at that fighting game in the living room. Are you sure? I could still call Mary and see if... She gives up on her thought halfway, exhaling a deep sigh instead. Never mind, you're probably right. I really shouldn't be nannying you this hard. Hey, it's alright. I know you're just trying to help. And besides, I'm sure Mary expected something like this to happen. It's not as if she forgot what Jasper's like right before her trip. Indeed, one could even think she intended for the two of you to bear the brunt of his anger in her absence. But the doubts are immediately dispelled as you recall the many times she defended you from his wrath last week. So it seems her being an idiot is sometimes the likelier explanation still. Just like last night. Just like last night. You mutter, your thoughts already heading on a familiar tangent. What was that? Nothing. You reply. Natalie's whispers sound like thunderclaps to your ears. All it took was a moment's distraction, you almost lost yourself to that mystery once more. And here you thought you'd managed to get it out of your head for the time being. Is everything alright, Isaac? Natalie wonders aloud, likely concerned with your sudden bout of silence. You have in mind to mention the peculiar side to her as well, but now's probably not the time, you reckon. There are bigger problems you need to address first, and even then. It could be she already knows all about that. A thought that only further fuels the doubt you have toward your friend, and all the complicated feelings that come with it. Yeah, I'm alright. Just have a lot on my mind is all. You reply back, only as honest as you're willing to be. Right. I can imagine. Well, if you need someone to talk to, I could always keep you company while you travel here. It's been a while since we last chatted like this anyway, and I wouldn't mind. It really has been. I'm grateful for the offer, but would it trouble you if we took a break, actually? As fun as our talks are, I'd rather focus on getting ready for the trip on my own. To be honest, I haven't even moved at all since we started talking. You explain, unable to not feel guilty over the way you're trying to cut the conversation short. Oh, I see. Yeah, no problem, Isaac. So she claims, with thinly veiled disappointment. A sound that, for all your apprehensions, you absolutely cannot stand. I mean, it's not like I don't want to talk to you. In fact, I'm really looking forward to it. If you're up for it, we could always chat in person at Pandora after I'm done with Jasper. We could even get lunch together since we didn't get the chance till last time I was there. That's actually a great idea, yeah! The Labrador replies with mounting exuberance. You don't have any plans for the day? Not anymore, I mean. None past my meeting with Jasper, I don't think. Perfect. This could actually work. What could, sorry? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. She replies, giddier than ever. I actually gotta go right now. I've got a really important job to take care of. That's right, super important. Alright, I guess I'll leave it to you then. I'll let you know if I need anything in the meantime. See you, Pandora. You too. Oh, this is... You don't get to hear the end of your handler's sentence as the connection abruptly cuts midway through, which means you don't yet know whether to feel excited or afraid. I guess I'll find out later. Leave your empty plate in the kitchen and quickly step over into the living room. While you expected your friends to be too busy playing to notice your arrival, that's not what awaits you when you arrive. The look your friends give you as you approach is that of someone who already knows and expects the worst. I assume something came up. Apollo asks, clearly dejected despite his best intentions. That obvious, huh? Obvious? You jumped out of the chair so fast even I could hear you. And then you paced back and forth in the kitchen for a solid 15 minutes, all silent and brooding like. Oh god. Can't believe you're so absorbed by that conversation you did all that without even noticing. How embarrassing. Honestly, I thought about checking on you a couple of times, but... No, it's fine. I'm really sorry for worrying you. I just got a call from Pandora is all. They want me there on the double, so unfortunately I can't stick around. Aww. The lamb whines, unable to hold his disappointment back any longer. Or his worry, it would seem. Is it bad? Well, of course not. Daphne answers before you, strangely confident despite her total lack of knowledge. Pandora's a friend of theirs, remember? At least the people there are. They'll be fine. She's certainly not wrong. Generally speaking, anyway, and so instinctively you latch onto her argument. Yeah, she's right. I'm just going there to talk with some people over lunch. It's no big deal. You don't have to worry. You reply, hoping you can somehow convince yourself as much as you convinced Apollo. Well, that's a relief. Guess I shouldn't have worried after all. Shame about our plans. I was really looking forward to seeing you guys play. Same here. Sucks having to pull the rug up from under you again. Would have been nice to spend some time together for a change. We'll have other opportunities though, won't we? Daphne intervenes again, much to your relief. Of course! I'm always down to hang with you guys, especially if it means teaching Daphne a lesson or two. Oh, is that what happened last time? Could have sworn it was you who had to run home with his butt cheeks burnt to a crisp. Psh, absolutely not. Who do you trust more, Apollo? Her memory or mine? You inquire conspiratorially, tapping your head as if to highlight the supposedly infallible computer inside. Hey, you can't ask me to choose. It's not fair. Alright. I guess we'll settle this the next time I'm around. I really gotta go now. Still have to get ready for the trip and everything. Of course. You take care, alright? Try to have fun. Yeah, what he said. Daphne smiles at you for the briefest of moments before her visage turns neutral once more. Not sure what to make of it, but you suppose you've had worse farewells, small and all. You wave goodbye to your friends before leaving the way you came. Can't help but feel guilty over the suddenness of your departure, as well as the way with which you and Daphne handled Apollo, but you don't have time to dwell on it, as you already must... Hey. To your surprise, the human follows you into the hallway, quickly closing the door behind her so it's just the two of you once again. Hey? Is something the matter? You ask, unsure and a bit worried by the unusual continuance. Her expression confirms your doubts before her words can. Yeah, there's something I'd like to talk about regarding Apollo. Somehow I had a feeling he was involved. You mutter to yourself as Daphne steps closer, seemingly to ensure whatever she's here for stays between the two of you. So, I have a favor to ask, if you don't mind. Sure you remember me saying that I took the day off earlier with Apollo? Yeah, of course, Wait. You mean that was a lie? No, damn it, it's the truth. It's just... I only got the day off, as in today. Tomorrow I'll have to be back at work already. Oh, I see. Is that bad? I mean, I wouldn't say it's good, but... You know, it is what it is. Problem is, I'm worried about Apollo. The reason I took the day off in the first place was so he wouldn't be alone after what happened yesterday. Make sure he was alright and all. I can keep looking after him during the weekend, but tomorrow's a blind spot for me. I don't want him getting any ideas and wandering around town on his own, so... You want me to look after him for the day? The girl looks up at you with a timid, remorseful gaze, as if ashamed to even ask this little of you. You sigh, able and willing, but immediately confused by the request. Okay, maybe I'm overstepping a bit, but couldn't you just quit if that was a problem? You have every reason to hate your job, and you made it clear last night that money's not an issue for you two, so... And what would I tell Apollo tomorrow? He'd sniff out the truth in an instant, and when he finds out that I quit my job just to look after him, he'd... She shakes her head, seemingly exhausted by the mere thought of it. Honestly, I don't even know what he'd do. And I don't want to find out. I don't need the money, but after everything that happened to us, I at least want to try and give him a semblance of normalcy. Make him feel like he's part of a real working family like everyone else out there. You get me, don't you? That you most certainly do. As much as you like to denounce her actions as convoluted and inane, you certainly empathize with her motivations, and it's not like you're in any position to judge either. And so, though there's certainly more you wish you could say to her, you passively relent. Alright, I'll make sure I've got tomorrow to myself. Nothing's gonna happen to Apollo under my watch, I promise. That's a relief, she says, nervously chuckling to herself all the while. Truth be told, you're amazing she still manages to prioritize her brother when she's the one putting herself in danger all the time. Brotherly love is quite something indeed. But someone needs to look after Daphne as well, and so you spare a few words to remind her of that. You try and be careful too, alright? I'd hate if something were to happen to you. As expected, the girl brushes off your concern with a look full of confidence. Ha! Really now? Still worried about me after everything you've seen me pull? You mean everything that makes me want to worry in the first place? Don't get me wrong, you're a great fighter, Daphne, better than me even. But you can't win every battle and I can't shield you from every danger. So please, stay safe if you can, for Apollo's sake, if not my own. The woman seems shook by her words, which clearly come as a surprise to her. After a moment of pondering, she quietly nods at you, seemingly humbled and convinced. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'll try to keep to busy streets. That seems enough to avoid confrontations most of the time. Keep that in mind should you go out with Apollo tomorrow, alright? And in general, too. You nod back to your friend, grateful for the advice, and for her receptiveness. Of course, I'll remember. That said, though, if there's nothing else, I really gotta go now. I'm really sorry, but I can't afford to be late to this meeting. No, it's alright, I've taken up too much of your time already. Enjoy your trip to New Relay, and try not to get jumped without me. I'll see what I can do. And so, with another wave of the hand, you bid Daphne goodbye once again, for real this time. You sure have peculiar taste in friends, and she a morbid sense of humor indeed. Always thinking of the fight to come, that one. Better be one of you than neither, you suppose. With heavy steps and countless thoughts swarming your mind, you finally begin to prepare yourself for your oncoming trip. You reach the train station before long and quietly wait for your ride out of town. Purchasing the tickets online was no problem at all, even though you still can't decide whether to buy them for Isaac Asimov or Isaac the Synthetic. Ignoring the mean looks from passerby was also easier than ever, even without a voice in your head keeping you busy. Seems you're slowly setting into a routine of sorts. Or, at the very least, you no longer struggle to even do basic things on your own. Mary would likely call that progress, but you struggle to even find joy in that. Not when that sight from yesterday still intrudes on your every thought. When every moment is spent gazing everywhere around you, even at the smallest of details, waiting for things to inexplicably change again. Only to be disappointed. Everything stays exactly the same, even down to the people's expressions when they look at you. The only hint of that malfunctioning visor of yours are the little fireflies that follow you wherever you go. Silent witnesses to your lingering obsession. Perhaps you really should have asked Natalie to accompany you, you wonder. Nothing else, she would have spared you the bother of being alone with your myriad thoughts. Much like the timely arrival of your train does just now. As a familiar sound echoes through the station and countless people around you prepare to board, you quietly rise from your seat on a lonely bench and get ready to join them, if for but a moment. Upon your entry, the car quickly vacates as per usual, with even those looking to exit the train altogether opting to do so from another carriage. You sigh at the familiar sight, staying perfectly still so as to not further panic the people around you. When the dust settles, you're surprised to find the carriage less empty than you expected. It's not a lot by any means. Two young adults playing on their phones in the corner, a man and a woman who try to look unbothered as they stare at you mid-conversation, an old lady dozing off in her wheelchair, seemingly oblivious to the ruckus around her. As mediocre reception as it is, you cannot but crack a smile. 5 people is 5 more than you usually contend with when you travel to New Relay. Perhaps a sign that things are slowly improving after all. That's another thing Mary would say. For your sake, you can only hope she's right. Take a seat near the middle of the train, far away from all the strangers around you. While the company is nice, they're not about to ruin it by getting too close to them without their approval. They're not trying to talk to you, so you have no reason to talk to them. Instead, you lift a foot onto the nearby seat that you may turn around better, and gaze past the window onto the sprawling world beyond. As the train quickly picks up speed, Bloomberg's urban environments are replaced by entire oceans of plains, towering mountains on the horizon, and the many forests and small towns in between. An ever-changing landscape that feels new and exciting no matter how many times you view it. It's strange. Despite your taste for the outdoors, you never were much for travel. Even when opportunities to leave the country presented themselves in the past, you chose to stay at every turn. You can't say why that is. Was it fear perhaps? A feeling of inadequacy? Just plain youthful stupidity? As if you're any better now. Most of your travels these days only take you to and from 2 cities. Even with the whole world at your fingertips and all the time in the universe to explore it, nothing at all bars you from going beyond your usual confines, except for your family, of course, your friends, your weird relationship with Pandora, your commitments, your unfinished business. Of course you can't leave. There's still too much left to do, too much yet to achieve. Not to mention people still needing to get used to you, both here and elsewhere. It just doesn't feel right leaving now, with so much keeping you here. Even so, the wondrous vistas beyond the window remain. Allure for your sight and your imagination both. Your dreams of freedom linger on. Perhaps you'll yet have time to indulge in them once this all is over. But for now, you stay still in your seat, enjoying what little of the world you can until the time that you... Hi. Woman's voice, loud and strangely casual, suddenly intrudes upon your solitude. The greeting was clearly directed at you, and the closeness of the sound implies the source is right behind you by now, as unusual as it is. You can't think of any reasons why anyone would approach you in such a fashion on the train, and your first instinct is indeed to ignore them. You don't exactly enjoy being pulled away from your sightseeing. But the brief tapping of someone's foot immediately after shows this person is determined to speak with you, and curiosity has begun to seep in by now. Might as well see who it is, if only to make sure you're not bothering them somehow. Hiding aside, you slowly turn your head, and... Oh. You mutter, as surprise overwhelms your better judgment. Hi. The dragon repeats herself, dragging out her greeting like she did earlier. You're Isaac, right? The synthetic? I guess? I mean, yeah, I am. The one and only. He replies, you nervously rub the back of your head. And you must be Yume, right? Nem's sister? Oh, so you do remember me! I did wonder for a second if you actually would have, but I suppose your memory's probably better than mine. She laughs it off, seemingly feeling a tad awkward herself. Although maybe that's not such a good thing, what with the way things went last time. She says as she claws at her sweater's fabric, her eyes darting to the side as if trying to avoid your gaze. Much different showing compared to the last time you saw her, and a much different disposition from her brother entirely. You almost mistook her for him when you first turned around. So similar they are in size and fur color. Though you should probably shelve that thought for now. Right now, it's probably best to focus on keeping things relaxed between you two. I'll admit, our first meeting was not the greatest, to say the least. But it was in the middle of a fight, and I probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. I know how heated family matters can get at times, so I won't hold it against you. Oh, that's a relief. I was afraid you'd only remember me as some crazy lunatic mad at her brother or something. She chuckles, emphasizing her words with a brisk shake of her arms. That really wasn't me at my best. Or so I'd like to think. It's alright. Like I said, water under the bridge. You reassure her, wary but still trying to be polite. So what brings you here? I could be wrong, but I didn't see it when I first entered the train car. Well, that's because I was in another train car. She explains like a teacher would to a child. I was busy working on a project for a client, but then all these people barged into my car all of a sudden. I was like, well, that's strange. I remember people saying the synthetic took this train often, so it didn't take me long to figure out what happened. I see. I'm really sorry about that. Can't control the way people react to me, but it sucks that got in the way of your project. Oh, that's alright. I was planning on taking a break anyway. The dragon says with another chuckle as she takes a nearby seat on your side of the train, good 6 or 7 feet away. Not every day you get to chat with the synthetic, and I've got little else to do until I stop a new relay, so why not take advantage of this lucky break? She asks, a large smile plastered on her lips, visibly quite eager while you are anything but. Well, it is true I'm not doing anything right now, but for some reason you don't feel entirely comfortable with this. It could just be her extremely casual demeanor putting you on guard. You can swear there's something more at play you can't quite nail down. That's hardly a reason to be mean to her, though, especially when she's only looking to chat with you. That's more than you can say for most of the people you meet these days. Plus, she seems reasonable enough. Perhaps if you get on her good side, she can tell you more about her ongoing dispute with Nem, and the ways you can help put a stop to it. You may not have parted in the best of ways yesterday, but you're still friends, and you know better than most how it feels to be at war with your own family. Might be hypocritical after what you just told Yume, but if there's any way you can help them... Oh, well, I'm down to talk. Really? Oh, that's great. Thank you. Exactly. Robots are cool as fuck. Like, I'm just now looking at chat. Robots are cool as fuck. But you know what's actually slightly less cooler than robots? Boats. A robot on a boat. That's cool as fuck. But not just any robot. A robot dinosaur on a boat. That would be cool as fuck. Robot that is both a dinosaur and a boat. Yes! Yes! Really? Oh, that's great. Thank you. Don't mention it. Just... let's forget that whole... the synthetic thing. Just Isaac is fine. Alright, noted. She replies in an overly bombastic way, kind of like Natalie, but somehow even more exaggerated. You shrug that lonely thought off your mind before it can burgeon. No point getting hung up on the small stuff, you reckon. You're already here, so you might as well get to know her better. So why are you heading to New Relay? That she beats you to the punch, of course. Well, Pandora's HQ is there, and you hesitate, unsure how much you want to disclose with her. Already going back to your makers, I see. She says, trying to cheekily conclude your sentence for you. You could say that, but really, they're more my colleagues than anything. Some of them are friends, even. I tell you, I've got some business there I must attend to. It's... complicated. I see. She replies almost automatically. But you don't dally on it, as you quickly ask a question of your own. I take it you're here for a similar reason? Traveling for work? Your query surprises her for a moment, but she quickly regains her confidence. That's right! I've got a client I'm meeting a New Relay for one of my gigs. Gigs? What kind? Oh, just a small thing for a private client. She wants to give her restaurant menus a fresh coat of paint, and I guess a colleague recommended me or something. She chuckles, spurring your curiosity. Interesting. I had no clue Nem's sister was an artist. Graphic designer. She quickly corrects you, much to your surprise. Huh. What's the difference, if I may ask? Well... She takes a moment to think about it, her smile slowly turning to a smirk as she does so. I don't have to worry about starving, for one. She dryly laughs, earning a nervous chuckle from you before she continues. No, but seriously, I work for a company that does graphic design solutions. If you need a logo or a website or anything at all that needs to look professional, you call us. They're called GDS Productions, though I doubt you heard of them. I can share the website link with you later if you ever need to. Sure. Later, maybe. You interrupt her. Not exactly looking for any graphic design solutions as of now. And you said this project you're going to New Relay for is a side gig? Yeah, I take private commissions when I can afford it. Never gonna say no to a little more money and a few more recommendations in my resume. She says, seemingly quite proud of herself. Well, you seem to know your stuff, that's for sure. I'm surprised. By what? By how different you are from Nem? How neatly you've got your life sorted out? Neither answer feels very kind toward your friend, yet you can't exactly say nothing either. So you'll just have to improvise, as you are one to do. Everything, I guess? Not gonna lie, I'm still getting used to the fact that Nem has a sister altogether. Oh, he never told you about me? That's unexpected. She exclaims, her wide smile cracking for the briefest of moments. So much so you question whether you even saw it happen in the first place. I guess that topic never came up, no. Only known him since high school, and for all the times he invited me to his place, I don't think I've ever seen you around. She ponders on your words for a moment, an unreadable expression on her face, only to shrug it off not long after. I guess it makes sense. I was already in college by then, and it wasn't unusual for much of my class to be pretty late in the day. By the time that was over, I was offered an internship at the company I work at now, so... Wow, that's very impressive. You think aloud, earning a smile from the dragon. You must really like your job. Only for it to disappear in a flash and be replaced by confusion. What gave you that idea? You're taken aback by her quick reply, so much so you're honestly unsure of how to follow that up. Well, it's just graphic design isn't a career just anyone would go for, and you clearly put a lot of effort in pursuing it, so... Again, she listens, a mute expression on her face before replying once again with a smile. I don't think there are a lot of worthwhile jobs that don't require a lot of effort to pursue. I guess that's true. You mumble under your breath, quite uncomfortable all of a sudden. I'm sorry, did I say something wrong? Oh. She mutters as she notices a weird look on your visor, quickly regaining her usual cheeriness. Oh no, nothing of the sort. You just surprised me is all. So often people ask me that. And besides, I can understand the confusion. You were about the same age as Nemerin when you died, right? Another question that completely blindsided you, making it harder and harder to maintain your composure as you answer. I guess? Why does that matter? Well, people at that age usually want to find a job that's somewhat in their chords when they grow up. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good idea to specialize in something you're already good at, but... She hesitates, seemingly unsure of how to explain herself. Jobs are meant to be fun. People wouldn't want to be paid for them. Right. You mutter unsteadily. Forcing the dragon to wonder the reason for the strange look on your visor all of a sudden. Albeit not for long, it seems. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk for so long. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, like who you were before you turned into this? She asks, trying to change the subject. An idea you agree to quite easily, despite your mounting discomfort. Well, no one really, just a normal college kid, same as everyone else. College? You mean the same one Nem went to? Yeah, same one. We had classes in common, so we spent our first semester revising for those exams. Mostly elective stuff that would suit any degree. English, mathematics, economics. The basics. Right. But we knew we'd eventually have to split up as the years went by. Neither of us knew exactly what we wanted to do. My mom sort of pushed me into business since it opens up the most career options, but Nem didn't seem very convinced. I'm sure. The dragon mumbles sourly before quickly regaining her calm. And what happened next? Well, I got sick. You quickly reply, not nearly comfortable enough to get into the morbid details. I had to stop attending college all of a sudden. I could no longer be there for classes. Not that I was in any mood to keep studying. Things got rough, then rougher, and not long after that, I wound up here, in this body. You shakily mutter as the weight of your dark thoughts pushes your gaze downward to the floor. A familiar chasm opens in your heart as... What about Nem? Here you may ask, her voice nearly unchanged from how it was earlier. As you raise your visor to meet her gaze, you notice her expression is much the same as earlier, focused and just as curious. What about him? Can't help but ask, taken aback as you are. Stopped attending about half a year in too. At least that's what he told her parents. That was around the time all this stuff happened to you and you had to stop attending, wasn't it? Well, I'm honestly shocked she can ask about something like that after everything you said. Were you too vague for her to get to the point? Then again, it is possible she could be asking this solely out of worry for her brother. Though, if she is, she's definitely having trouble getting that across. I suppose that's around when he dropped out, yeah. Oh no, I'd already left by then. Kept in touch for a while after that, but it didn't last long. We just found each other again last week, and only by stroke of luck. But we never planned to quit college before then. Right. The dragon mutters to herself as her gaze steadily sharpens the longer she looks at you. And you're sure that's everything you know. She shocks you yet again, throwing your mind into disarray once more. Only this time you can't help but show it. What's that supposed to mean? You're best friends, he said so himself last time I was at his new place. She explains, somewhat unhappily as she crosses both her arms and her legs in defiance. Surely he's told you everything about what he's been up to already. We were best friends back when I was still human, and we still are. It's just taking a while to catch up is all. We don't have classes in common or anything like that anymore. Neither of us knows what the other is doing all the time. I've got a new life now, and so does he. Yeah, tell me about it. She mutters under her breath, evidently fed up. What was that? You ask, not at all a fan of the tone she used. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to offend. I was just surprised by your choice of words just now. A new life. She replies with the same sweet, grating tone she greeted you with, unable to stop a chuckle as she echoes your words back to you. And what would you call it? Nem's life now, I mean. You ask, your anger slowly bubbling up even as you try to retain your composure. Survival, subsistence, death by 1,000 cuts? Really? Yeah, I mean, how else am I supposed to call it? He dropped out of college without any real reason, and instead of furthering his education, he's busting his ass off all day for a meager salary as a waiter with no chance of career growth. That's basically suicide with extra steps. She claims, quite uncharitably, as you turn around to face her head on. You forgot about his streaming career. Try to remind her, only for her to scoff at you. His streaming career? What career are you talking about? It's nothing more than a hobby. Not to him, it isn't. You reiterate, yet manage to only draw out her exasperation. Have you, watched one of his streams? Do you even know what he does? You stutter, feeling more than a tad underprepared all of a sudden. He plays video games competitively? Competitively? She repeats after you, sardonic as she slowly gets up from her seat. From there, she looks down on you, forcing you to subtly raise your gaze to meet hers. Alright, clearly you don't know what he's doing very well, so let me explain it to you just so we're on the same page. He plays popular games with minimal commentary to an audience of maybe 5 or 6 people a week. That's it. He's nowhere near good enough to attract a competitive audience, and believe me, he's nowhere near entertaining enough to attract a casual one. He does exactly what every other college kid with a camera does in between classes, without the whole going to class part. That's fucked up. Manage to stutter as your shock quickly turns to indignation. I know, right? It's ridiculous! Dragon exclaimed, seemingly oblivious. He's literally throwing his life in the gutter over a phase! A guy who drops out of college doesn't have what it takes to succeed as a waiter, much less as a streamer. Okay, I feel called out. Like, I feel very called out right now. She says, seemingly exhausted before sitting back down and placing her hands on her legs as if to plead with you. Surely you get it. This tantrum he's throwing, it's unsustainable. He's going to permanently damage his life before it's even begun. He has to get his life back under control or he's going to run out of money before he even realizes it. She laments, desperate to hear you agree. Only met with the most furious look from you yet. Is that what this is all about? Is that all you care about? Money? You drill into the surprised Drake as you rise up to your feet, unable to hold yourself back any longer. Surely you know that nobody starts off already set for life. We all gotta start at the bottom and work our way up, no matter what we do. If he's putting in the effort, who cares if he's still growing his audience? Who cares if his main job is waiting tables? At least he's trying to get himself somewhere in life. Isn't that what matters? You ask, half angry, half pleading yourself, still hopeful that you may yet reach some sort of compromise. As your gaze quickly shifts into a mix of vexation and defiance, you realize you're about to be sorely disappointed. I'm sorry, are you actually defending him? Yeah, I am. Someone has to, seeing as all you're doing is bad-mouthing your brother to his own friends. She scoffs at your claim, then chuckles as if it were a joke. Bad-mouthing? That's what you think this is? I'm only telling you how it is. Like it or not, I'm telling you the truth. And the truth, sorry to burst your bubble, is almost never kind. Yeah, you're telling some truth, alright. Your truth. There's more to life than just careers and paychecks. Life's also about enjoying things, developing your passions, following your dreams. Being content is more important than being well situated. Ugh, there you go again with this nonsense. Honestly, do you even know how you sound?
Are you enjoying your job? Life's all about enjoying yourself. It's all about having fun. You're such a meanie because you focus on all the important stuff instead of the stuff me and Nem like.
I never said anything like that. Remind me, when's the last time you held down a real job? Woman suddenly inquires, a childish tone she mocked you with giving way to sheer freezing cold. A change so sudden it renders you speechless. I see. And tell me, when you went to college, did you pay for your tuition yourself? My parents did, but oh, wouldn't you know? And let me guess. You didn't even pay for that body you're using right now, did you? It's complicated, right? I signed a contract. I'm paying in other ways. Ooh, you signed a contract. So professional. I guess that means you don't even have to pay for your travel expenses, I assume, since you've got a huge company backing you and everything. The barrage of questions continues unending, each one steadily sapping away your resolve. Even though you're standing and she's not, you can feel yourself becoming smaller with each passing second, until at last you can no longer endure it. Ugh, give me a break already! Keep interrupting me. How am I supposed to explain what's going on? Oh, I know exactly what's going on. You think I can't spot a privileged little kid from a mile away? You're out here reaping the benefits of other people's work like a glorified parasite when you decide to stroll up to me, she says before violently standing up. Me, of all people, preaching to me what life is about, trying to teach me about what having a job is like, and defending the indefensible as if you have any ground to stand on. She takes an angry step forward, practically forcing you to take one back yourself. As you regain your footing, you make sure to return her newfound hostility in spades. Excuse me? I strolled up to you. You strolled up to me. On false pretenses too, seeing as your real goal was clearly to start shouting at me all along. That is not true. My goal was to learn more about my brother and his friend. I never meant for things to come to this, but neither did I expect you to be so... She bites her lip as if afraid of what she's going to say. So what exactly? You press her, your knuckle tightening up underneath your sweater. So immature, damn it! Down to the very way you speak, just like Nemerin. No wonder his head is filled with nonsense hanging around people like you all day. Yeah, sure. You keep telling yourself that. I'm not the one constantly complaining about everything and everyone, but I will be the one to help my friend where you won't. You calmly state, flat as a canvas, only to earn yet another malignant chuckle from the Drake. Oh, you'll help your friend. That's so nice of you. And tell me, what's your big plan? Throw money at him until he can't fail? Flood his chat with viewbots so it looks like he's succeeding? Great ideas, Miss Graphic Designer, but no, that won't be necessary. You answer, equally sardonic before continuing. All that matters to you is view counts and the money in his bank account. I'm sure an appearance of one of Nem's streams one of these days will fill both right up. 3 hours together is all that we need. His stream will be the most talked about on the web by far. This kind of messed up. The smile on your visor, confident though it may be, fails to reach the woman's eyes. A bewilderment on her face doesn't diminish at all as she listens, nor does the contempt in her speech. Let me get this straight. You're gonna waltz on Nem's streams one of these days, and you think that's gonna fix everything? That's gonna prove your point? God, you're so naive! Are you sure you're supposed to be an android? Because you sound more like a 3rd grader to me. Still had teeth, you'd likely be gritting them right now. Sheer gall of this lady, the audacity with which she speaks, are rapidly getting on your nerves. You're reaching levels of anger not even Jasper ever managed to draw out of you. When you get angry, you're beginning to realize you starting to sound like a bitch. You tend to say some pretty regrettable things. Excuse me? You started realizing your mistake too late to prevent it. I'm sorry I spoke out of turn there. Could we please... Oh, really? You think so? You think? She immediately interrupts you, her polite facade peeling off to reveal the unbridled fury within. You know what? Screw you, buddy. Screw you, your company, your makers, the people you work for. Screw fucking everybody. I'm out here sharing my concerns for my brother and you're going to call me a bitch? To my face? Just who the hell do you think you are? I know, alright? I messed up. I never should have called you that. Keep starting as you try glancing back, already dreading the idea of yet another video of you looking bad in public, making the rounds on the web, and the way Jasper would react to it. Deep down, you already know you're screwed, yet you try to salvage things nonetheless. Whether out of desperation or stupidity, you can't say. Look, can we just agree to disagree and move on? Right now, I'd be grateful to be anywhere but here. And, aw, poor you! You really messed up, didn't you? You hear her whisper, sickly sweet, as she slowly stomps toward you, forcing you to redirect all your attention toward her. Well, you're about to find out by just how much you think you can say that stuff to my face and get away with it. I don't know who or what you are, but you are delusional. Nothing but a delusional pile of garbage and a bad influence to boot. No wonder Nem's gone off the rails, hanging around someone like you. I should sue your whole company to the ground for the harm you've caused my family. You should be ashamed. What? Have you nothing to say for yourself? Nothing at all? You disgust me, you filthy, rotten, evil piece of... Oh, for the love of God, will you two motherfuckers shut up already? A woman's voice suddenly thunders behind you, loud and forceful enough to silence both of you in an instant. Terror sweeps over your mind as you realize the situation has quickly escaped your control. One angry passenger was already more than you could handle, but 2 or more is practically a disaster in the making. At this rate, there's no telling how awful the consequences will be, but it's far too late to flee, and panic won't be of any help. The only thing you can do is apologize and pray that can somehow lessen the blow. That in mind, you slowly turn around to face the oncoming threat. The sound of wheels slowly spinning on the floor grows nearer. You nearly drop your jaw as you realize who yelled like that just now. Lady so frail looking, you struggle to think how she even came up with such fur in her tone. The large coat she wears covers most of her body, but the lines on her battered face and bare hands betray her advanced age, as well as her atypical species. I swear, it's like young people don't even come with eardrums no more. You think the whole train wants to hear you two squabbling or something? The elderly human screams, dispelling any doubts you may have had on the origin of the sound earlier. She's definitely the one yelling at you now, in a tone and idiom unlike any you've ever heard. It's mortifying, to say the least. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. I really didn't mean to... A white figure pushing past your shoulder interrupts you mid-apology, the outwardly cordial smile on her face visible even from here. I'm sorry, madam, we're in the middle of something right now, and I'd really appreciate if you could... Man, shut your bitch ass up! I asked you a question just now. Could you not even hear that?
Excuse me? Excuse you, my ass? You think I can't pick up on that tone in your tone? You can spot a privileged kid from a mile away? Well, I can spot something alright, and I don't like the look, the sound, or the smell of it.
The woman quickly remarks, aggressive enough that even you are stunned by her approach. It's as if you're living in a fever dream, and no one is more flabbergasted by this than the very dragon before you. I don't need your permission to talk to this android. I have a real attitude. Don't worry, girl, we can tell. Not to mention some real issues if you find bullying little kids fun. Little kids? You ponder, wholly befuddled, just as the old woman starts sizing up the dragon with her gaze.
I mean, seriously, if a fight is what you want, why don't you pick on someone your own age? A fight? Are you trying to threaten me?
She asks, more frightened than angry, while the woman sounds more unamused than anything.
Are you dumb or something? That ain't a threat! Get your stupid ass out of my carriage already! Before I get off this wheelchair and whoop it in the next week myself, you hear?
The old lady thunders again, grabbing the edges of her chair so fast that even the dragon backs away in fear. A sight so nonsensical, it even feels like the punchline to a joke.
See? Now that's a threat!
Just then a single chuckle escapes your lips at the sheer absurdity of the situation. A single chuckle too many.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yume's gaze practically drills into your visor, all hilarity replaced by terror as it does.
No, I swear, I don't even know who she... Yeah, right, I see how this is.
The fed-up girl mutters to herself as she makes the motion of shoving you away and starts heading off.
I've been ridiculed long enough. Screw both of you! Fucking weirdos.
You hear her tell herself as she practically stomps all the way to the door and leaves the carriage a fuming mess. The sight of her leaving is almost as crushing as the sound of her words. You wish you could feel relief, but you don't really feel like celebrating right now.
Damn, kid, you was right on the money. She really is a bitch.
The human comments as she shakes her head, evidently in disagreement. You sigh. I really shouldn't have called her that. I don't even know what came over me.
Whatever. Some people just can't handle the truth, if you ask me. Honesty is always the best policy.
She scoffs, shrugging her shoulders as she pushes her wheelchair off to the side, in between the rows of seats on the side of the train, seemingly looking to settle down for a moment. You give her a long, cautious look, still questioning whether this truly happened, or if it was yet another figment of your imagination, but the woman's continued existence, and indeed her growing concern, are proof enough that you didn't.
Man, what you looking at me like that for?
She suddenly inquires, compelling you to back away. I'm sorry, it's just... You took me by surprise is all. I didn't expect anyone to come to my rescue, especially someone so...
Old? Weird? Foul-mouthed? No, Relax, I know you didn't say that.
She reassures you before continuing her explanation in a more muted tone.
I wish I could say I just like my peace and quiet, but that's some bullshit right there. He's been too quiet if you ask me, and I need some adrenaline in my veins. Honestly, I kind of hoped I could drag that on a little longer. Guess I overdid it.
She laughs with a closed mouth, her throat bouncing back and forth as she does. A most peculiar way to do it, but then again, it could be argued it's the same method you use. Two of you remain quiet for what feels like an eternity, at least to you. The old woman studies your expression, but even you aren't sure what face you're pulling right now. Should you thank her for intervening? Chastise her for the trouble she might have caused down the line? Somehow, no words feel right at this instant.
Man, she rattled you that bad? Uh-huh? You're standing there gaping at me like I just kicked your dog and slapped your mom.
You can't see past her glasses, yet her gaze seems to burn right through you nonetheless.
I mean, seriously, that's alright. You can tell me what's on your mind if you want. I don't judge.
She grins.
Too hard, anyway.
Oh, you know she gives the best life advice. Not gonna lie, I kind of want some of her life advice. Again, she laughs, while you silently ponder her suggestion. This old lady's got you on the back foot, with no clue on how to regain your metaphorical balance. It's hard not to feel wary towards such an eccentric character, but it's equally hard to tell how she'd react if you denied her. Plus, she did help you just now, so I reckon you might as well tell her something. Well, I'm just disappointed with myself is all. I didn't mean for our discussion to get personal like that. I was trying to keep our talk calm and constructive, but I guess... Take a deep breath as you consider your words carefully. I guess it spiraled out of control before I realized, and I even dragged someone else into it.
It happens, you're young. Youth is all about passion and dreams and all that crazy shit. Don't let an old stuck-up like her trample all over you.
She reassures you yet again, but the expression on her visage doesn't change.
Unless, of course, there's something else you ain't telling me, which would explain a lot now that I think about it.
Perceptive indeed. You're honestly stunned she can tell that much with such limited information. She's definitely no crazy old lady, that's for sure. Or she's absolutely totally insane, and she's successfully dragged you down to her level. It's hard to tell at this point. It's just, I've been recorded getting in people's faces once before. Some people use that against me and against my friends. I was trying to avoid a repeat of last time, but I failed. There's no way this went unnoticed. Especially if the discussion got so heated it dragged this old lady into it. Jasper was mad enough at me already. If another video of me blows up before I get to the labs, You sigh yet again as uncertainty and regret take over your mind. Your body freezing as if stuck in ice.
You know, someone did pull out their phone earlier while you were arguing. Some kid or another.
Woman suddenly interrupts your thoughts, your heart rate spiking as she does. Then...
And I told him to scram way back.
She states flatly while you look on in shock.
Want to be paparazzi in my jam either, so I threatened to whip his ass too. And he and his homie took off real fast. Like, man, you should have seen their faces.
Okay, I like her. She laughs to herself, grinning wildly all throughout, perhaps deriving just a bit too much pleasure from all this. When she realizes you're not sharing in her excitement, her expression flattens out once more.
So, yeah, doubt those dudes gonna give you trouble now.
You're serious? I mean, that's such a relief. You mutter out loud as a huge weight lifts from your shoulders. It's not an ideal way to handle the situation by any means, but the effectiveness of her methods is hard to disprove. Thanks.
There we go, that's the kind of look I want to see.
She mumbled to herself, evidently pleased, only for that look to soon be replaced by what appears to be confusion.
Well, kinda. Can't ever be too certain with you having a visor for head and all. Really, who are you supposed to be? You look like one of those fancy AI-powered androids, but you don't really sound like one either.
Are you saying we've been chatting this whole time and you don't even know who I am? What I am? Your confusion is evident, but she literally shrugs it off without a moment's hesitation.
Well, I don't know, should I?
Stand motionless before her query, flabbergasted, only to chuckle softly to herself as you reply. You don't watch the news a whole lot, do you?
You ain't gonna act all high and mighty about it, are you?
No, it's just, it's been a while since I had to explain it is all. Bit of a long story though, to be honest. You're not sure you care to share again. Hearing you say that, the woman simply shrugs her shoulders.
Man, I'm just an old lady in a wheelchair. Time is just about all I got left at my age. I'll hear you out, if you wish to share, I mean.
She grins back, complicitly, seemingly intrigued by you. It's been a while since a stranger looked at you like that. Feel a spark of excitement bubbling within you. Well, alright then. Basically, I'm... By the time you finish your tale, you can tell something in the room has shifted. The grin on the woman's face has long disappeared, replaced with nothing but wholehearted attention. At some points in your retelling, she made as if to laugh to a joke, only to realize you made none. Then her face returned neutral once more. Her hand never too far away from that chin she loves to stroke. Feel a smidge closer to the elderly woman after retelling her various misadventures. Voicing your thoughts and insecurities was a surprisingly grounding moment for you. As if, for a brief instant, things started to make some amount of sense again. After some time spent pondering on your words in silence, the woman finally tries to speak once again.
I'll say, that's some story you just told.
You could say that again. Is this really the first time you hear all about this?
Well, kinda heard bits and bobs here and there while I was traveling country, but... Man, I thought it was a plot of a movie or something. Ain't no way that shit was real, I figured.
She says as she shakes her head, all the while aggressively stroking her chin.
A soulful android instead of a soulless one. Ain't that some crazy shit?
Well, to be fair, that part's still being debated and all.
Yeah, I heard ya. Just saying, science sure has come a long way in recent years. Not for $1 million would I bet something like this could happen.
She mutters, only to shake her head once again in disbelief.
Then again, we do live in a world where almost everybody looks like an animal. What the hell's the use in even being surprised anymore?
Almost everybody. There's always the odd human out like you. Your forwardness might have been mistaken for impropriety by many, but the woman, fortunately, only seems to find it amusing.
Why, I'm glad you noticed. Kinda hard under all these clothes I know.
Must be tough traveling the country alone as a human.
It certainly got its perks, alright. Most adults avoid me. The kids all think I've got some think I'm some kind of janky sphinx cat. Or at least that means most people have the decency of leaving me alone while I'm just trying to read or something.
The woman chuckles to herself as she pats down the book she's carrying on her lap. Each slap nearly echoing across the train car as small clouds of dust burst off from its cover. All of that could be intriguing enough on its own. The book's age, its wear and tear, even the fact that it's made with leather and paper like the ones your family used to own. And yet, somehow, what attracts you most about it is a peculiar decoration placed in the middle of its cover. That book, it wouldn't happen to be the Bible, would it? Or maybe a gospel? Though the look on the woman's face stays the same, you can tell something has changed behind her glasses. While the rest of her body stays perfectly still, she slowly raises her hand to about her next height and her book with it.
This thing?
She quietly asks, seemingly skeptical. You turn to the book. The pure black cover seems to lack even a name, and white and time weathered its texture beyond recognition. Only the large white cross staring back at you, almost untouched by the elements, subtly hints to the contents of its pages.
How do you know what this is? You didn't look it up with your mind or something while we were talking, did you?
I try not to do that kind of stuff, honestly. It doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. Besides, I had no need. I'm quite familiar with the subject matter already. Tilt your head to face the woman again. Something about this seemingly unassuming woman can't help but stroke your curiosity further. Maybe it's a bit late for this, but may I ask who you are? I never did catch your name. Your query seems to break the woman's concentration for a moment. Her cheek twitching for what must have been an instant, as she perches her book back on her knees. She starts rubbing the back of her head, apparently nervous all of a sudden.
Well, it's not like I planned to. I really didn't think this conversation would last long enough for pleasantries.
She mumbles out loud, much to your surprise and regret. Have you been droning on and completely misread the situation, you wonder? Oh, it's okay.
That said...
She interrupts you before you can retract your question, a wide smirk on her face once more.
Yeah, fuck you. I've been a good sport, so might as well. I'm Sister Petra of the Order of Saint whatever his name was. Just traveling nun off on a pilgrimage to this miserable old country.
She explains herself while the eyes of your visor grow wider than ever, much to the woman's regret, it seems.
Yeah, that probably sounded like a whole load of gibberish to you, didn't it?
Well, some of it did, admittedly, but not all of it.
Oh?
She mutters quietly as you slowly try to regain your bearings. I know what a nun is, kind of. I remember my dad telling me about them when I was younger, about monks and priests and all sorts of people who chose to devote their life to religion.
To God, not religion, but otherwise you're right.
Huh. You mutter in turn as you once again size Petra up from top to bottom. This is certainly not the direction you expected the discussion to go in, nor would you have ever expected this woman to be holy at all. But you hope to be discreet in your appraisal. It's not long before the nun notices what you're doing.
Man, what you looking so surprised by?
Oh, nothing. It's just, your clothes are just not what I remember hearing about is all. I may be wrong, of course, but I don't think that's
a habit? Hell no, it ain't. Here's some regular-ass clothes, I'm afraid. With some extra bling.
She points to the crosses adorning the collar of her coat with a smirk.
I ain't exactly proud of it. I lived my whole life wearing those robes, you know. That was back when it meant something. These days, those kind of garments are more likely to be mistaken for bathrobes than anything.
Are you speaking from experience there?
Don't even get me started. That shit was embarrassing for everybody. Wasn't even that long ago either. There ain't exactly a whole lot of people left in these parts who know what God and religion are anymore, or even care.
She sighs, regretful, before tilting her head upward once more to look you in the eyes. Appraisingly, you assume, though her glasses make it impossible to be sure.
Honestly, I'm kind of floored you know this much. Is your family really...
Christian? Yeah, they are. My mom, my dad, even my uncle and aunt, all Catholics.
Catholics? There's no Catholics up in this bitch!
She swiftly yells with such disbelief in her tone it takes even you aback.
Man, I thought the Mormon motherfuckers would have been the last ones to go for sure. Some other weird-ass breed of Protestant, like there was a billion to choose from.
She mutters, quietly cackling to herself all the while.
Last vestiges of Christianity in the States and it's Catholics, I knew I chose a winning team.
She continues to muse, completely unaware that you've long since spaced out of her ramblings. Where does she even find all this energy at her age?
Honestly, I should have realized you were Catholic way sooner. You just got the look.
Thanks, I think? Rub the back of your neck, looking away from Petra. Although, I'm not sure if I'll call myself that.
See, let me guess. You, the one non-believer in your family, and they all disappointed the prodigal son ain't making his way back to the flock.
Not exactly, but something like that. I'm not sure I'd go as far as calling myself a non-believer, though. Frankly, I'm not even sure what I'd call myself, especially now. The things I believe in, the things I don't believe in, it's also complicated.
Complicated? Ain't that the truth?
The woman mutters to herself once more as she cranes her neck upward to better face you.
Not like it matters all that much. Catholics are barely even a thing anymore. There's probably like, what, a few hundred, maybe 1,000 of us left? Kinda hard to call yourself a religion where there's barely even people left.
Oh, wait, you can't be serious. There can't be that few religious people left, can there? The words must come as quite a surprise to Petra, seeing as she suddenly stops her chattering to look back at you, almost as surprised as you are.
You heard about that or something?
She asks, skeptical once more, and raising quite the question for you to boot. Well, I wouldn't say worried. I don't know how I feel about religion, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. If that's a bad thing or not. I'd say it's just weird to hear, I guess, and a little sad in a way. Like, when you hear another animal species went extinct on the news.
Ain't that the truth?
Woman shakes her head as her smile quickly sombers.
Yeah, it's not as if religion is dead even in these parts. In a way, I guess it's more alive than ever. Just ours isn't.
So she claims, frank and cryptic at once. You barely have time to ponder on her words before she continues.
Honestly, it's been a hell of a rough time since the Vatican fell. Can't even remember the last time I've spoken to someone about this stuff. Most people I tried with just thought I was crazy. Not you, though. First person I talk religion with in decades, and it's an android. Man, today's just full of surprises, ain't?
Next destination, new relay. Arrival estimated in 2 minutes. A monotone feminine voice interrupts Petra in the middle of her thoughts. A development that is as disappointing to you as it is downright infuriating for her.
Ugh, I should have specified good ones. Damn it!
Well, that puts a wrench in my plans. I was actually starting to enjoy this, believe it or not.
The fuck you mean, believe it or not, you cocky little shit?
She chuckles in her unusual way, silently despite her wide-open grin, only for her visage to turn sorrowful just as fast.
Yeah, but I getcha. As fun as our talk was, you probably got places to be, don't you?
I mean, you hesitate, unsure. Do you? From the looks of things, Petra didn't seem to expect you answering her query with yet another one. She once again scratches the back of her neck, as if looking for an answer of her own.
Not necessarily. I mean, I still want to visit the town and shit, but I ain't picky. I don't mind a detour, too. Where you headed?
Pandora Laboratories. I have an appointment there in about an hour. You answer without hesitation. There aren't any big landmarks on the way or anything, but the walk there is pretty quiet. The surroundings are nice enough to look at, and the view of their headquarters from up close is quite striking, if I do say so myself. You explain, not without taking some creative liberties with your descriptions at the end. Woman raises her thumb and index to her chin, and contemplates your offer with what looks to be a mixture of interest and suspicion.
Well, it don't exactly sound like a holy hotspot or anything, but, you know...
She grins complicitly.
If you're already heading there, I don't mind sharing the road with you. Just a little longer.
Hearing that, you can't help but smile yourself. If you want to come with, I have no objections, as long as you promise me one thing. Noticing the sudden seriousness in your gaze, Petra quiets down just as quickly.
And that would be...
Try not to go after other people verbally like you did that girl earlier. I really can't afford any more bad press right now.
Well, shit, kid, you drive a hard bargain. But since you've been a real one with me so far, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Thanks. I owe you one.
Man, you don't owe me shit. What you talking about?
I'm serious, actually. You begin to walk around the woman's wheelchair, quietly observing her prying eyes all the while. Once you made your way to the back of her wheelchair, you place your hands on the handles and give the woman your most encouraging look. Why don't I drive you around for a while? It's only fair since I'm the one dragging you through the city and everything.
Ah, the chivalrous type. My arms were just starting to feel sore, too. I knew I liked you for a reason, kid.
Don't mention it. Like I said, it's only fair. I do want to see her talk sense into people. She can talk sense into Jasper! Let's take her to Jasper! Let's take her to Jasper. That's a wonderful idea. You tighten your grip around the wheelchair's handles as you quietly wait for the train to stop. You feel overwhelming curiosity take hold of your thoughts as you think of the brief time with Petra ahead of you, as well as a mounting sense of what can be best described as confusion. One part of you reckons this could be a fun distraction on your road to Pandora, another questions why you couldn't simply call Natalie or Daphne if boredom was such an issue. Something tells you the two of them couldn't have challenged you the way she has, not on such riveting topics of faith and religion, which not even Mary had all the answers to. There's a time to find out more about the million queries that hound your heart, that time is most certainly now. I can only hope it'll be worth it, choosing to stick by this nun's side for a little while longer. How much is in this update? Because it's almost been 2 hours. Like, I keep thinking we're nearing the end, and then... yeah. Also the fact that my voice is starting to feel a little sore. I'm gonna check something on here real quick. This was a lot. Hang on. Let me see if this is. Oh, we still have quite a bit, I think. So, we're actually going to leave off here tonight. Like I said, my voice is starting to feel a little sore. Whew. Stay safe, have a good night, and I'll see you all tomorrow.